Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 47 of Optimal Living Advice, the podcast where we take any questions you might have about the many struggles of life and we get them answered for you here on the show. I am your host, certified life coach Greg Audino, and today we have a question on deck about therapy and how to get the most out of it. Therapy is surely a hot topic these days with all the emphasis on mental health. It's a big step to enter therapy and finally concede to the fact that you need help. But for as great as it can be, for some people it doesn't help the way they envision it. That is the case for today's asker. So let's check out today's question and see what they've got to say. I have been seeing different therapists off and on for many years now. None have ever stuck, and it never seemed like I was getting the magic out of it that people claim to get. I'm starting to think it's a problem with me. What should I be bringing to therapy in order to get the most of it? Okay, just want to start by saying good job. Good job recognizing that it is most likely a you problem. Don't feel bad about that. We all have our flaws, and therapy can be a difficult process for a lot of people, even though it can also be very effective, as I said. The important thing is that you're here now, and you are looking to do something about it, so you hopefully can get that magic out of it, as you put it. There are definitely several key elements necessary to make therapy as successful a journey as possible, so we will talk about them here today, and you can decipher whether or not you've violated any of these little rules in therapy sessions past. First things first, you have to believe in therapy or be receptive to it. Therapy can be powerful enough sometimes to allow people huge breakthroughs, even if they are a little trepidatious about the whole thing. Word of the day, trepidatious, that's a big word. But that definitely is not something that I would gamble with. If you're in therapy out of obligation somehow, then you're less likely to get anything out of it. But being receptive to therapy it's a blanket guideline, really. So let's consider all of the other little guidelines cuddling underneath that blanket. It's hard to believe or be invested in therapy if you are not with the right therapist, okay? Many therapists are very intelligent and gifted people, but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily compatible with everyone. In order for therapy to work, you need to be with a therapist that you trust. I've talked to a surprisingly high amount of people, actually, who told me that they were dissatisfied with their therapist and left them. Some therapists are very communicative and engaging. Others are much more stoic and are more prone to repeat what their clients say so they can hear it coming from someone else, as opposed to offering a lot of new feedback. Different strokes for different folks, that's all right. The thing is that you really can't make compatibility into a formula. Like anything in life, you'll go into therapy with preconceived notions, and sometimes those can be really hard to shake. And even if you feel like you're being silly or ridiculous about it, if it's hard to shake, it's hard to shake, and that's that. Maybe you won't jive with a therapist because they look like your ex, or because they speak with the same accent as your abusive father, or whatever. It's not ideal for us to cast judgments on people for such trivial things that have nothing to do with them and everything to do with us. But if you're having a hard time getting past that, you're only wasting time with that therapist. It's also hard to be invested in therapy if there's any ambiguity as to why you're there. If you're there maybe because someone else is making you go, or you're still uncertain if you want to fully commit to getting help, and therapy isn't going to do much. Therapy, like anything, is most effective when it's most purpose-driven. You must be clear and concise about what you want out of therapy. Otherwise, you're likely to hold back and not communicate everything that's necessary to communicate. This gets especially tricky because therapy can still feel fun under these circumstances. For example, a lot of people that are a little vague going into therapy can fall into friendships with their therapists. Yes, I said you need to trust your therapist, and this can go hand in hand with that, but if during your therapy sessions you're spending more of the time rambling on about irrelevant stories or gossiping about different people, your therapist won't be able to serve you fully, and you'll mistake this lighthearted attitude you have towards them for you opening up in a way that's actually necessary, if that makes sense. And then finally, therapy requires regular attendance. And I'll tell you, this is where I've gone wrong in the past myself. The more serious the subject matter is, the more time it will take to make a full recovery. And don't pretend like anyone's subject matter isn't serious to them if they've entered therapy for it. Yes, therapy is expensive. Yes, you have a lot on your plate, but you have to stick with therapy long enough to get results. Some people leave after 5 sessions if they're frustrated about not feeling any different. And then some people leave after 5 sessions if they feel good 2 weeks in a row. Just as your struggle has more than 5 weeks attached to it, so does your recovery. See what I'm saying? Just as your struggle comes with the ups and downs, so does your recovery. The desperation to recover can cause us to make these snap decisions in therapy, wanting to stop wasting time if results don't come fast enough, and also pleading and insisting that the pain is over if results seem to be coming too fast or generally quicker than expected. This is part of your journey through therapy, and your thoughts about therapy and your healing are just as important to disclose to your therapist as the thoughts that brought you into their office in the first place. Recommendation time, people. There is a wonderful psychotherapist and relationship coach whose work I really enjoy. His name is Alan Robarge, Robarge. I highly recommend checking him out. Not only does he offer great insight, but he talks about the therapeutic process a lot. And I believe he has a free PDF on his site somewhere about how and why therapy can be unsuccessful, which of course is what we talked about today. So have a look at Alan Robarge if today's episode was interesting to you. It was sure interesting to me. All you guys interest me. Come on. Thank you for listening, guys. Thank you for submitting this question, of course. As you might know by now, anyone and everyone is encouraged to email us their questions so we can help you out on the show as we did today, or tried to do. You can email your questions to us at advice@oldpodcast.com. That's advice@oldpodcast.com. Okay? Cool. All right. Looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say. Looking forward to the next episode, and I hope to see you all there. Until then, everybody.